All right. So, that was a weird episode. So, this episode was, of course, them, the creature commandos, figuring out a plan of how to kill the princess. And it was interspersed with flashbacks of how Nina came to be. Now, we still don't know how I guess she ended up with Argus because of that sea creature fear that people were having. But we see another episode where a police officer is an absolute butt. And this time it's because he killed Nina's father. Now, granted, he kept pushing cops aside so he could get to Nina and trying to explain that she isn't a monster, that she isn't who people think she is. But, so I'm not completely absolving him of that. I mean, he really handled that badly, the dad. But at the same time, what do you think you were doing? Why were you shooting him? What did you think was going to happen? You were protecting him from a sea creature? I honestly had no idea what was going on through that cop's head because he was not doing anything. He was saying how Nina isn't the monster people think she is, and he was asking her if she's okay. He was literally not doing anything to warrant being shot, let alone killed. I mean, at least see what's happening before you shoot. But no, the cop shot because he was pissed off that he was manhandled by a geek. So, and the reason she ran away was her dad wanted her to be in a social environment, which, granted, is a good thing. But just because you see her as a normal person, seriously, you should have seen it coming that the kids would treat her so badly because you're a geek. I'm sure that they shoved you in a locker or two when you were a kid. You should have known that this was going to happen. So he basically, his idealism is what actually caused Nina to run away. So she gets captured by, I guess, Argus. And Amanda Waller, Rick Flag wakes up long enough to hear to tell Amanda Waller that the professor isn't who they thought she was. So Amanda Waller's freaking out that they made a mistake. And unfortunately, by the time one of the knights came to let the bride know that the phone call's for you, Nina had attempted to kill the princess, only to be stopped by Weasel, and instead the princess kills Nina. And I felt horrible for Nina, because her one attempt to, do what she's supposed to do, which is kill, and she fails. Not because of any fault of hers, but because of Weasel. And I was honestly hoping that there was going to be some twist and that she was going to still be alive. Alas, no. So this particular night, I guess Alexei, everybody is now acting like there's a funeral. The bride finally admits that Nina was a friend. Something she refused to tell Nina, that she considered her a friend. And then the twist is revealed when everybody is praising Weasel for saving the princess. And you think, okay, it sucks that Nina died, but she died for because she was led astray as to what she was doing. But then it turns out that no, Clayface and her are partners. Now I'm still uncertain that Clayface will not, that the future that Cersei saw isn't still Clayface, that he isn't still going to pretend to be the princess, but only because he wants to help what the prince, help princess's vision. So that could still be that the vision Cersei saw could still have been Clayface. It's just that nobody knew that it was Clayface and they thought it was the actual princess, but that Clayface took over for her after she died. So that future is still in play. But and if you didn't catch it earlier, there is a season 2 of Creature Commandos. So it could be a continuance of this story. It could be a new mission. But the bride saw on the tapes that she was talking to Clayface, which I guess that's that Alexei that she was talking to, which would explain why the previous head of the guards had such resilience when I thought he had died and no, he's still alive, because it was probably Clayface. And now Clayface became this Alexei, and but it doesn't show up on tape. Instead of showing him as whomever he's pretending to be, he shows up as Clayface. So the bride sees that it's Clayface. So she knows that the princess is in actuality the bad guy. So even if she might have had feelings for Flag, I mean, it's still possible she did develop feelings for him. Just because her initial plan was to get him to fall for her so he wouldn't notice what was in plain sight. So once Cersei was shown to be credible, Clayface killed the professor and pretended to be her to make it seem like it was her all along, even though people can literally figure out when she died. I mean, it might not be as exact as TV shows lead you to believe, but they might have at least been able to say, yeah, she was killed after this. So it turns out that Cersei was right in a way. But I'm still not sure that what Cersei saw was the princess. It was the future, but I don't think they prevented the future because Clayface. So Amanda Waller and John Economos goes to the professor's house, and that's when they realize it's Clayface. And John explains to Amanda who Clayface is. Now, I think that what was I going to say now? So, but based on the way it ended, obviously Amanda Waller, now John Economos, know, or at least John Economos know that they were actually right. She was planning to destroy the world. And the bride killed her, though, because she killed Nina. And like I said, I was kind of hoping when they revealed the bride's new team. So obviously, Rick Flag isn't coming back to lead the Creature Commandos, which understandable because he's the one who was compromised. Well, him and Weasel. So I'm surprised that Weasel is still there. I was hoping that he would be exonerated by the end of this show, at least this season. That Cersei would read his mind and that she would see that he didn't kill those kids. But we also know why he went from that little girl to the princess. It wasn't because he saw the princess as that little girl, because their looks were similar, but because she played fetch with him. And the bride had confronted her, and I don't know why she thought shooting one shot was going to kill the princess and was going to kill the bride. It's like, where did you get that idea? And she has all these monster books like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and there were some others, but I can't remember what they were. So she had all the classics. And like I said, the only way I could see Clayface, because we never saw Clayface speaking to the princess, is that he was pretending to be the head of the guard. So, again, I don't think that they prevented the future because I'm not sure that that was the princess ever. Now, would that have prevented the future if they had just let her live? Because yes, she's buddy with Clayface, but now we know that, so we can keep an eye on them as opposed to killing her. That's highly unlikely too. So, but again, the bride didn't kill her for that. She killed her because she killed Nina. And she was such a sad story. I mean, her dad was just trying to keep his daughter alive. His wife left him because of Nina. He ended up getting killed because of Nina. Because, well, I'll admit he wasn't very smart in how he dealt with it, but the cop should not have shot him either. So I actually was hoping that we would have a scene of Nina getting revenge on that cop because he killed her father. So the bride gets to see her new team. So we see Dr. Phosphorus. I have no idea who he's playing ping pong with. Then we see Weasel, which I was bummed to see Weasel because, I mean, why is he's still in Argus custody? You know, Cersei should have exonerated him by now. Then we see a new and improved GI robot. So, but it's as good as, my guess is as good as yours as to whether he's obsessed with Nazis still, or if they upgraded his programming so he would be less Nazi driven, even though given this time period, that's being Nazi, being driven to kill Nazis is a good thing. But at the same time, not everybody they're going after are Nazis. None of those people in Pakistan were Nazis. They were horrible people. Well, the princess is. I don't know about the soldiers. the soldiers might not, even the people focused on, probably have no clue as to what's happening. And so I can't blame anyone but the princess. So then we see, I'm not sure, is that was that supposed to be King Shark that we saw? I was really hoping that it would be Nina, that somehow they managed to bring her back. But considering she was never supposed to live to begin with, and it was only her father's bioengineering that kept her alive, I guess it's rather fitting that she did end up dead. Let's see. They, of course, did give any indication as to what the next mission is going to be. But yeah, it looks like that's going to be the new team. If you do know who Dr. Phosphorus was playing ping pong with, let me know in the comments. I really want to know who she was. I think it was a she. We did see her previously. I don't know if it was just behind bars when, like, G.I. Robot was walking through Argus, or if there was in another scene. Maybe she was also there when the bride killed that chimp character. So anyway, but if you know who she is, let me know. Like I said, I think we established that she is a she, but I'm not completely sure because I'm not familiar with that character. I'm pretty sure the shark is supposed to be King Shark, but again, I'm not completely sure because that sure did not look like a king shark. That looked like a baby shark. So anyway, then we see a I guess you could call it post-credit scene, a very quick scene of Frankenstein's monster, of Eric, talking to another gypsy lady. Looked like a different one because, he killed the previous one he was friends with. And they both agree that the soup is disgusting. And he's convinced that the reason that she shot him up so much and she was so dead set on killing him is because she must really secretly be in love with him. Whereas, no, she told you it's because you're a stalker. And yeah, I mean, if you're going to stalk, you kind of deserve what you get. So, but Eric decides that that must mean the opposite, that she must actually be in love with him. So, if there's a next season, there's going to be sorry, my phone's ringing. So, hopefully there's going to be a second season of him trying to chase the bride. Because as much as I cannot stand him, I mean, it is kind of fun to watch a stalker get his comeuppance many, many times. So we've seen Nazis get theirs, we've seen stalkers get theirs. We haven't seen cops get theirs though, which I'm sorry, I'm so pissed off at those cops, that especially the ones that let that little girl die because they were so focused on capturing Weasel. That pissed me off even more. And so yeah, I would like to see the cops who behave badly get their comeuppance. But it is fun to see people who do stupid shit get their comeuppance. So I believe that is all I have for this video. I think I covered everything. Yeah, I believe I've covered everything. So with that, I will see you guys in the next video.